Alright, let's dive into something that's been making headlines in the US: the abortion rights law. It's a big topic, and things have been shifting quite a bit recently, so let's break it down in a simple, engaging way. Think of the right to abortion like a crucial piece in the larger puzzle of personal rights and freedoms. For decades, Roe v. Wade, a 1973 U.S. Supreme Court ruling, gave women the right to choose an abortion. It was kind of like a protective umbrella, ensuring that women had the legal right to decide whether to carry a pregnancy to term, especially in the early stages. However, in 2022, the Supreme Court made a huge move. They overturned Roe v. Wade. In simple terms, they said that there's no constitutional right to abortion, leaving it up to individual states to decide what their abortion laws should be. Imagine it like a game where the rules were set by one authority, the federal government, and then, suddenly, those rules got thrown out and the decision-making was handed to each state, like giving every team in a league their own playbook. So now, things get a bit more complex. Some states, like California and New York, have kept abortion legal and accessible. They're kind of like the states that said, we're sticking with the rules we know. But then, there are other states, like Texas and Florida, that have passed much stricter laws, limiting access to abortion or banning it after a certain point in pregnancy. This has created a major divide, with some people celebrating the decision, feeling that it's a win for states' rights, the idea that local governments should have more power, while others are upset because they believe it's a step backward for women's rights and access to healthcare. Here's where it gets interesting. People in different parts of the country are now facing different rules. For example, if you live in a state where abortion is banned, but you need one, you might have to travel to another state where it's legal. This has led to what some are calling a reproductive rights road trip, where people are traveling hundreds of miles, navigating a patchwork of laws, just to get the healthcare they need. Now, the debates aren't just happening in the courts. They're happening in communities, in elections, and on social media. It's become a huge political issue, with many people asking, what's the balance between a woman's right to choose and a state's power to regulate? And how do we protect the most vulnerable people, especially when healthcare access, economic barriers, and other factors come into play? So, to sum it up, abortion rights in the US are in a bit of a whirlwind right now. The laws are no longer the same everywhere, and each state is deciding what's best for its own people. It's a hotly debated issue, and the conversation is far from over.